Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, I am going to walk you through the critical differences between Python threading and multiprocessing. And you know why this matters? Because choosing the wrong one can lead to silent performance degradation, or even worse, race conditions that are impossible to reproduce. Most tutorials skip the deep technical reality of the global interpreter lock, but today we are going to get into the details so you can finally make the right architectural choice for your production systems. Let us dive into the mechanics of Python concurrency. Specifically, we will cover the global interpreter lock, how threading works, the mechanics of multiprocessing, a side-by-side comparison, benchmarks for compute and I/O-bound tasks, and finally, a decision framework for your production projects. Watch the full video without skipping any content to understand it better. Before we get into the topic, a small request to you. I have already uploaded many technical videos on different technologies and tools. We share more knowledgeable content every day. So, if you are interested in learning and want to improve your skills, make sure you have subscribed to our channel and joined our WhatsApp community. The join link is available in the description or scan the QR code shown on the screen. Let us get started. So why does Python concurrency feel different than other languages? It comes down to the Global Interpreter Lock, or GIL. Imagine a meeting room where there are 10 engineers, but only one talking stick. Even if everyone has great ideas, only the person holding the stick can speak. That is exactly how the GIL works. It is a lock that ensures only one thread executes Python bytecode at any given moment. This keeps the memory management safe, but it means your CPU-bound Python threads are not actually running in parallel. So what is Python threading exactly? Think of threads as workers in the same office, sharing the same desk and filing cabinet. They share the same memory space, which makes it fast to pass information around. However, because they share everything, you have to be extremely careful about data corruption. In Python, threading is perfect for I/O-bound work. If your program is waiting for a database query to return or a file to download, threading lets the CPU switch to another task while waiting. That is the key point. Now, let us look at the alternative. What is Python multiprocessing? If threading is workers in the same office, multiprocessing is like hiring entirely separate companies. Each process gets its own memory space and its own Python interpreter. Because they are completely separate, they are not limited by the GIL. You can finally use all the cores on your server. The trade-off is that they cannot simply touch the same variables. They have to pass data through pipes or queues, which is slower but allows for true parallel number. Crunching. Let us compare the architectures. On the left, we have threading. Everything happens inside a single process, sharing the memory heap. It is lightweight. On the right, we have multiprocessing. Each process is a completely isolated container of code. This diagram shows how one is bound by the GIL, while the other effectively duplicates the interpreter to achieve true hardware parallelism. Here is an I/O-bound example using threading. We define a function that simulates a 1-second network delay. We create a new thread for each URL. Because the thread spends its time waiting, the GIL releases control, allowing all three threads to run concurrently. In practice, this script finishes in about 1 second total rather than 3 seconds if run sequentially. You can see the result here. Even though we have 3 tasks, the total time is just slightly over 1 second. This is the hallmark of effective I/O-bound concurrency. Now let us switch to multiprocessing for a CPU-heavy task. We are calculating the sum of squares for 10 million numbers. If we ran this in a single thread, the interpreter would be locked the entire time. By using the multiprocessing pool, we spawn 3 separate processes. Each process gets its own CPU core. This allows the OS to schedule these tasks truly in parallel across your hardware. This output confirms the calculations. You will notice that on a multi-core machine, This finishes significantly faster than a single threaded approach would because the work is distributed across the hardware cores. Let us break down the results. First, memory footprint. Threads are cheap because they share memory. Processes are expensive because each clones the Python environment. Second, complexity. Threads are dangerous because of shared state. Third, parallelism. Multiprocessing is the only way to get true CPU parallelism in Python. Fourth, communication speed. Passing data between threads is trivial. Passing data between processes requires serialization. Finally, startup time. Spawning a thread is fast, but starting a new process has significant overhead. So when should you use each? Use threading if your tasks are I/O bound. If your application spends time waiting for APIs, reading files, or handling user interface events, threading keeps your app responsive. On the other hand, use multiprocessing for CPU-bound tasks. If you are training machine learning models, processing large datasets, or performing heavy math, you must use multiprocessing to avoid the GIL bottleneck. Choose carefully based on where your time is actually spent. Take a moment to review each point shown on screen. What are the common mistakes? First, sharing mutable objects across threads without proper locking. You will get race conditions that break your application in production. Second, trying to share giant objects between processes. The overhead of serializing that data will destroy your performance. Third, using too many processes. If you spawn one process for every tiny task, the startup overhead will make your code slower than if you just ran it sequentially. Fourth, forgetting the mean guard. Always put your multiprocessing code behind an if name equals mean block. Otherwise, your code will recursively spawn processes and crash. Fifth, ignoring IPC costs. Always measure if the cost of passing data is more expensive than the time saved by parallel execution. Let us look at a real-world scenario. A healthcare startup was processing 50,000 patient records every minute. They initially tried using threading to handle the XML parsing logic. But because parsing is CPU intensive, the GIL kept the application locked, leading to constant timeouts. They switched to a multiprocessing pool, distributing the work across all 16 CPU cores. The result was massive. Processing time dropped from 40 minutes down to 3 minutes. That is the kind of impact choosing the right concurrency model has. You now know the core differences. Remember that the GIL is a fundamental constraint, not a bug. Use threading for I/O-bound tasks to keep things responsive. Use multiprocessing for CPU-bound tasks to unlock true hardware potential. Remember that thread-safe programming is hard, and multiprocessing adds communication overhead. Always profile your application first to identify if you are blocked by the CPU or the network. These are the core concepts to carry forward from this video. I believe this video will definitely be a useful video. If you liked the video, please do like and hype the video. Also share it with your friends and groups. It may be useful to somebody else. If you have any doubts or any requests, please let me know in the comments. Make sure you have subscribed to stay updated for our regular videos. Join our WhatsApp community using the link in the description because we share more knowledgeable content every day. Thank you for watching. See you soon in the next video.